Hey guys, I'm super excited about today. I'm gonna be doing an experimental firing. So I'm actually gonna be doing two separate firings. This is a real small one. I'm just gonna be doing these spindle whirls over here. And I've got the pre-firing already going. So it looks like the first experimental fire is well underway. I've got everything stacked in there. And now it's just hope for the best. We'll come back to this guy later on. So I'm back here at my usual test firing spot. I'm planning on digging a decent sized pit for this firing. So let's get this right underway. All right, ooh. That's a weird looking rock. All right, I went a little bit deeper than I usually do on these things. For this particular fire, we're gonna be actually burying the pottery underground. We wanna starve out as much oxygen as we can. You can see the further I dug down too, it's still pretty damp from that last rain we had. So this firing's a little bit different than what I usually do. I still use my pottery furniture. I'll make sure that gets in there really good. I wanna make sure I have enough good oxygen flowing through. So this stuff remains pretty white. Oh, I'm still surprised this handle did not crack on me. So the next step I'm gonna be doing, as you can see, I've hardly got any cover sherds for this stuff, but they're gonna be set up in a kind of weird manner where we're not really gonna be covering stuff quite right away. This guy's being a little bit on the stubborn side. There we go, we'll just use some dirt to brace it in. I don't know guys, I've really struggled with these cover sherds. Every time I stack things over, I still get carbon issues. And I suspect it's because my firings are so short. They're only 15 minutes, 18 minutes at the most. So I think if I had a longer burn time, I think the cover sherds would probably work. But I'm not gonna be doing that in this case. At least not right now. So I think that looks pretty good. We're ready to stack some of the wood now. It always helps to set your starter branch that you cut with the Y shape in a good spot. But looks like I did not follow my own advice, unfortunately. You're somewhere in this pile. It'll probably be the last branch I pull out. So we'll go with these guys. What I'm using here this time, guys, is some mesquite branches. And that's gonna be the core of this fire here. My mesquite tree around here is getting pretty thin, so I've got some Palo Verde branches with some mesquite, which is gonna be my nice, hot, clean burning fuel. You might be a little bit too big, my friend. So we will go with this guy right here then. I don't know about that one. That looks kind of sketchy. But we'll roll with it. This is a really mean mesquite tree. It's got the thorns all over it. So I figure what better way to get back at this guy than to throw the scrap branches in here for my starter. So I've got the old fire starter right here. We'll get this thing going. Hold that for a second. There we go. Well, this fire sure is well underway right now. Oh, just beautiful. Look at that thing burning. This is just great. So I'm gonna get ready to smother this thing pretty soon. We're just gonna chuck a bunch of sand over it and hope for the best. I got a little bit of an opening here in the back, but you can see how black that red paint turned into. Well, the real goal is going to be keeping it black. But it looks beautiful in there. Look how white too. Almost time. So as luck would have it, my battery died on my main camera while I was starting to bury this thing like a crazy man. I know you all would have loved to have seen that. That just would have been entertainment at its prime. But basically what I did was I just quickly started shoveling dirt after it just started to cool down. The temperature hit about 650, and that's when it looked like it was time to start dumping the dirt on. So here we are, we got this big old mound, and it looks pretty good to me. So we'll come back in about 2-3 hours. That should give it enough time to cool. I might let it go a little bit longer. As you can tell, it's pretty hot out here in the desert. A couple weeks ago I was firing out here and it was cold, rainy, and beautiful. And now it's just the usual Arizona desert, as you can see in the background. Well, it's been cooling for several hours. This should be enough time. This is always my favorite part. Ooh, that didn't get burned all the way. Oh, there they are. Oh boy, some of it looks a little bit reddish still though. Yeah, we got a little bit of reddening. Well, these turned out pretty nice, I think. There's a little bit of red came back on them. It's pretty dark on that side, and oh, I got the red came back there. I got some brown here and some black there. That's kind of trippy. And then this one's got some red, but the reverse side of that's pretty black right there. I like that. It's pretty good. Now let's go check the other one out. Those spindle whorls were cold to touch, but this is still pretty warm. Probably should be using the old shovel. I just don't want to get anything. Oh, there's one of the cover sherds. It's about 50C. Well, it's like archaeology, digging up some old artifacts here. This is probably the funnest part of this whole process. All right, let me get one more measure reading on this thing here. The jar is 72. No, 76. It's still pretty warm in there. It's budging out. Ooh, good grief, that really got some good fire clouds on that. And you can see the side with the cover sure definitely kept it clean. So that's a good sign. Wow. That actually turned out pretty black. So did the rest of the jar, I fear, though. Oh, wow. That's kind of cool. Got to pull out the big guns. Nice carbon there. Ugh. Oh man. But just look at that. It's even got the rattle to it. Looks like it cracked. May have got a little bit too hard. Oh boy, yeah, it did crack. Look at that on the side. Man, oh yeah, it got a little bit too hot. So I definitely still need to use some cover sherds to, look at that. That is wild. But that really don't matter. What matters the most is this black paint here, and that looks pretty good. Wow, what in the world happened though? That's awesome. It blew apart at the seams, even with the 2 air vents in there. Wow. All right, that's good. We got one more thing in here. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I've got some cracking and buckling on the other side. I think it got too hot, unfortunately, but look at that, the paint held out. That's pretty cool. Well, guys, that sure was a fun experimental firing. I had a great time. These turned out pretty crazy. I think I've got some ideas for the next one, but it's got some crazy carbon. I definitely need to figure out these cover sherds and get those squared away for the next test. They've all got a nice, beautiful ding to them. So I'm not really sure exactly what went on with the cracking in this. Normally I would suspect it was a heat-related issue, but this has happened to me in the past where I've had my cover sherds literally start to buckle at the seams when I started to smother the fire. I'm starting to suspect it might be from rapid cooling. That's the only thing I can think of. The next step would be to possibly make some cover sherds, place it over it, and see what happens. But for the most part, the goal of this project was to actually get that red paint to turn black. My spindle whorls is a little bit 50-50, but this is as black can be. Oh, this is awesome. Minus all these defects. So I feel like I'm getting a little bit closer to my ultimate goal here, but we still got a long ways to go, that's for certain. Oh man, this is cool though. Look how white that is. I love that. The neat thing about these reduction fires is it just makes those whites like a ghostly white. So I can't wait to get home, get these guys cleaned up, and start the next round of experimenting. Well guys, I really hope you enjoyed this experimental reduction firing. If you did, please be sure to give it a like. All right guys, thanks again so much for watching. Until next time, my friends.